7:06.
It's so funny, he does this all the time.
We need to move along
Yes.
because we have several people that are
My two
not
new
gonna be
cats,
here,
which is, they're all
and a couple are
6
going
months
to be
old, is,
late,
Trinity,
but we do have 5 right now,
good.
so we'll get it
Scottish
started.
and Irish.
Those are great.
Minutes, do I have a motion? Do we have any questions, comments on the minutes?
I move we accept the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Declare the motion carried unanimously.
We don't have audio visual here today, right?
Is, I don't know how to make that work. Are we being videotaped?
We
Yes.
should be, I sent it to Bob.
But is there some, is there
Can't tell
some,
if there's
I
any-
heard someone back there.
I mean, it's hard,
I can
oh yeah, I
see
I
someone
saw a
waving.
wave.
Yeah. This room is the hardest to see.
I thought you just plugged it into the little connectors,
So I'm gonna do this time.
but, and then there are remotes somewhere that you use to turn on, and I don't know where that is.
Okay, it thinks there's something here.
Does anybody see a oh, you've got it.
No, if it's the right one, I don't know.
Does the audio booth know how to turn on the TVs? I see theirs are coming on,
There's a coming.
but not ours.
Oh, here we go.
There.
There.
The ones at the center,
Okay, I think
Hang
what we may,
it seems, they might just need to boot up a bit.
there we go.
There we go,
Got it.
they're on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ken, if you want to do the
Treasurer's
treasurer's
report.
report.
Okay, the treasurer's report differs only trivially from what we showed last month. And the new items are the two grants that applications we know of have placeholders in there. Courier Knives Prints for $10,000 and the Blackstone Greenway for $15,000 came in this afternoon. So that's $25,000 of grants. In addition to that, we have the 2 bond payments and potentially the transfer to the affordable housing. And that's it. That leaves us with, given the estimated 2027 revenue, it gives us 1,200, a little bit over $1.2 million in funds available to grant.
Excellent.
That's it.
Okay. Are there any questions? We have 1.2 million available to grant, and that includes
Post.
funding
Yeah,
the
after.
Courier Knives
after
and
that.
funding the Blackstone Valley.
And yes,
Greenway.
the bond payments and the Affordable Housing Trust, should we transfer
Why am I
that?
thinking that there's another application?
A third one?
We didn't have a good Baptist.
The Baptist Church is supposed to have one. That's what it is. Yeah.
They never,
I'm not sure if they're working on getting estimates. So that's a third one, and I would say, that what that project is, the front of the church, there's only right behind the columns is the only part of the church that is still clapboards. And they used a Rhino Shield type product before that didn't work. The company went bankrupt, same company that worked, I believe, for the Congregational Church. And so what they wanted to do was replace all of that with new wood. And I said, we can't pay for that.
Right,
So I said, if you can do, and I got clearance from the coalition that to remove lead paint that isn't approved, like one time, because that's restoration, because you're preserving. As I said, if you're putting on new wood, you're not preserving, you're creating something brand new. You know, it's not just a board here or a board there, it's the whole thing is coming off just to make it easier to do the work.
You're renovating almost.
Right, so he was, I don't know where he is with going back to get, because the numbers that he had were for replacement, not stripping.
Yeah,
Repair work.
restoration, yeah.
Right, so, I would just say as a placeholder, I would just say $100,000. I know it's not gonna be that much, or $50,000.
Well,
But just so that we all kind of have it's gonna be more than $5,000. It's gonna be a large amount of money, even though it's not a large amount of square footage. But for the nature of the work, with lead paint, and there are all kinds of restrictions and safety requirements, so that could be easily a $50,000 job.
okay, so, from the point of view of the finances and the treasury, there's more than enough to cover that.
Good, okay. So I will reach out to him.
So available funds will not be an issue in deciding whether or not to do that.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you for coming. I didn't know for sure, Chris, if we were gonna have 5, so.
Yeah. I know it worked out. I got out a little earlier.
Okay, good. And we're gonna be through by 8. That's the goal. Do I have a motion for the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Declare the motion carried unanimously. Project applications. So we have 2 in hand, 1 on the way. We're still not formally, next month is when we formally review these, but at least we have a head start. The Grafton Fire Station number 2 is proposing to do conservation work for some Courier and I prints that they have in the station in North Grafton. Did you talk to him or not? I mean, I know you said you'd like to do that,
I
but
said I'm willing to help out with it. No, I haven't spoken to
Okay.
him.
okay. I don't know if anybody had any questions from the application.
I was just
I mean,
curious, the ownership of it, how did they end up with it?
I
I think
can't
the
remember.
fire department bought them original
Oh, okay.
a long, long time.
I mean,
like
that history of it,
1800s.
They've
yeah,
just,
yeah.
and they've been
And
there and nobody
been hanging there for like 70.
thought
80
twice
years.
about them. They've just been there, their
Okay.
background.
Yep.
You know?
They're beautiful pieces. I looked at all the photos.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So,
Especially that what they're asking for to get them. Makes total
not
sense
a
to me.
whole lot. So, and then you have a hard copy if you want to quickly, I don't know, do you know about this?
Which,
This Mass Trails grant?
yeah, I'm
So if you
somewhat-
wanna, give us the
I have-
2-minute,
I had one question about it. Those properties that we just recently provided some funding for, are those the properties they mentioned as being part of this?
those are the ones mentioned.
So they are. I was just surprised they didn't bring that up before. That would have maybe helped us
Well,
solidify
I
our
think that they're
decision.
just naming all the properties they know about, that's sort of between the start, between endpoints,
Okay.
and saying that it might be here and it might be here and it might be there.
Okay.
So what I know about the Greenway is that they're seeking for decades, there's been talk about connecting Worcester to Providence down the Blackstone River, decades. And some of the segments have been built, but there are gaps, and there's a big gap through Grafton, essentially. Grafton and Millbury and maybe Northbridge. And so now there are grants to be had to investigate how to do that, how to make the connections. They're going to have to do some, riding on some roads. There are going to be some roads, but the Land Trust has a piece of property just south of Depot Street that goes along the canal and the river, and then the town just bought the property south of that goes along the canal and the river, and so there's a potential to utilizing either or both of those properties to somehow thread a trail, from wherever it ends in, I don't even know where it ends, Millbury?
Yeah, I forget. I used to know, but I don't.
Yeah.
There is a section in Millbury.
Yeah, okay, Millbury, and somehow route it down into Northbridge and say, okay, now it's, someone else can take it from there. So, anyway, so Fiona is seeking some grants to study
So this is,
and build
just,
such a trail.
yeah, quickly reading through some of these are recommendation letters that you guys do not have. It's for a feasibility study,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And it's substantially covered by grants, other than the
Yeah, it's-
CPC
This
application
is
they
pretty
have.
the percentage is pretty low.
Yeah. I've ridden the trail in Rhode Island, the sections that are completed there, and it's nice.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very nice. There's some interesting things to see along the way.
If they were going to go through Grafton, I wonder, it's possible they might build some bridges across the river.
Well, there's a pony bridge, if that means anything to anybody. It used to be the bridge over, right here. What's the side street that you have to drive to get on? To get in, no, to get in the municipal center.
Oh, I don't have a look at that. I
Oh,
just
okay.
take it.
Brigham Hill Road. It's right there by the mill, the little mill. That was replaced, and Millie Bean, 100 years ago, fought and got that saved, and it's at Dauphiné Park in South Grafton. It may have rusted to dust at this point.
Yeah,
But that was supposed to be used for a part of Grafton's, whenever Grafton got
Maybe it
around
could
to
be
it.
restored.
So if that's still around, that could be, that was the intent of keeping that, to make it one of the bicycle
Well, yeah,
bridges.
and there are other examples all over the state of bridges for, for trails, trail bridges. There are a lot of them across the Charles River, in the Newton to Boston range. There's just bike-only bridges. And they, it's a thing if there's enough money to pay for them.
Right.
That's the key part.
They're not cheap.
So,
No, not at all.
okay. All right, so those are the project applications. Next item, sunset extensions. The Congregational Church is hopeful, but needs to kind of hedge the bet that the work that they have will be completed, and the warrant article that was approved at May 2024 town meeting expires June 30th of this year. And so,
Yeah, we should extend that.
and we get to now extend the sunset. We don't have to go back to town meeting for that. So, if I can entertain a motion that they're hopeful that it will be done. If not, June or July, July or
Which
August.
church is it?
The Congregational Church,
Congregational
which is
Church.
the exterior
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
that we originally funded.
Do we want to extend it for another 2 years?
It's the original $120,000 from May of 2024.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
gonna ask Paul, do they have any timeline as to when?
They're hoping that it will be done by the end of June, but if it weren't, they don't want to get hung up with.
For just a year?
Sure,
any
so let's
kind of
just do
hiccup.
Give them another year.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Okay.
I move we extend the sunset provision for the Congregational Church by 1 calendar year.
Second.
And for discussion, I would say that the second grant that they got, ends on that June 30th, 2027 that you just extended this one to.
Right.
So makes sense.
Seems them up.
I assume they've already spent the money.
I don't think they've spent ink because they haven't, because that's what the project got defined was, they got started on they didn't actually start the work. I mean, you could probably speak a
Yeah,
little more.
they lost the contractor that was gonna do all the steeple work and stuff backed out, and so they had to get another one. And it was more expensive because there was more rod up there than
Okay.
they had anticipated. So that's why they got the additional funding last year. And, and why they didn't get any work done last year. But they have somebody in place now and they're ready to go as soon as the weather gets good for construction.
So it's they didn't start because they didn't want to get started and get stuck. But they do have the same contractor that did the work at the Unitarian Church Society.
And they did a really nice job, so.
So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Declare the motion carried unanimously. So that's that. Town meeting warrant articles, you kind of addressed that earlier when you went over your treasurer's report. And you'll put the language together for those for the next meeting?
Okay.
Okay.
And so as far as we know, it's these two and
The-
plus the.
potentially the
whatever we're
Baptist
gonna do-
church. Yep.
Whatever we're gonna do about the, Affordable Housing Trust.
Right. Okay. The next item kind of blindsided me. I don't know how much you guys know,
I read it,
but
that's
the,
why I
the
saw.
selectmen put it on their agenda at the last meeting last Tuesday to withdraw from CPA. Because I think that the $750,000 surcharge pot of money, if we don't have the surcharge, can soften the blow of an override. And I was not notified of this. I was looking at you. It was
was Andy.
Justin emailed me on Friday. It was too late. I couldn't call a meeting for us because the meeting was on Tuesday. Monday was a holiday. So I just went just to be there, and I wasn't going to speak other than to say I'll be happy to speak at the next meeting, but I'm not prepared to speak today. But then I went up a second time, and kind of my bottom line was, don't kill the goose that laid the golden egg. And that's going to be, to me, if we have to have a campaign, is don't kill the goose. I said, it's more than $750,000 because we leverage dollars when people come to us for grants. They also
It's
get
all about
grants. We
grants.
help them get grants. That it's,
You
it's,
have to get not
there's
matching,
a
but you
state
have to
law.
get.
Right.
complementary,
people
yeah.
typically don't just,
And give them examples about projects
That wouldn't
like
have
this
done.
that maybe.
But, and I don't know enough about, it was voted in by a town vote.
right, so it's a two, and so I've since talked to the coalition.
Yeah.
Stuart was out, so I talked to Chase Mack, who's like the assistant, and this has only been attempted 4 times. It's failed all 4 times. He said they would support us in any way.
But it has to go back out to a town.
It has to go to town meeting, and then it has to go to vote.
Ballot.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Is
You
it
can't
two-thirds?
have a
It's,
vote.
and it's only 51%.
Yeah, it's majority.
It's a simple
It's a simple
majority,
majority.
because that's it. I looked at the language, it's
Yeah.
all this, that it's however it was created. So it was, that's the way it was created.
Yeah.
So you undo it the same way it was created.
That was when I read about it. I didn't know
the-
about it.
the good-
I read it afterwards.
The good news is that there were only 4 selectmen out of 5, but Emery was on the phone for part of it, but they did not vote to move
Right.
it forward. And at the next meeting, hopefully she'll be there, and then they can actually vote. But
And it's most likely to fail 3-2.
right, that there are 3 people on this. Well, there might be more than 3, but 3 for sure. That at that
There's
two
only- there's
two
only
for sure
there's
said
only 5 of them, right?
right. Definitely said no. So that's 2.
And Anne Marie said no.
And Amory would be a no. Matt was kind of on the fence, not for sure that he had a definitive answer. And Andy, I don't know if he's the one that put it on the agenda, and I don't know if it was just as a
Discussion item.
right. Not that this is what I want to do, but this is an option.
Oh, this came up and we should discuss it. I mean,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that.
So hopefully,
I think Andy Jefferson put it on the agenda.
we were hopeful that it would end last Tuesday.
Okay.
Unfortunately, social media, like it loves to do, has made this
Makes
into
copies.
a thing. And there are people that are wanting now
I can try them.
not to rely on the selectmen, but to have their own citizen petition.
It seemed like the idea behind it, there are 2 main ideas behind it and the way it's being perceived. obviously there's the social media caught of it. There's some people who think that getting rid of the CPC, the town will just get that money now, and that quickly was like, that's not how any of this
No,
works.
plus the surcharge goes away too.
Exactly.
I'm guessing.
The leading idea behind it, I've had some conversations, was if the town does this, there's such a little understanding as to why we're in this override cycle, and there's all these ideas thrown out that are just wrong, that the idea was, if it looks like the town is doing something to save people money, they may be more likely to vote for this override. That would, if not voted for, would be pretty terrible. But I think, I guess, aside from the golden goose argument, how much money this generates in other places, you're still just trusting that people see it that way and don't just go, well, I don't care. When it comes to an override, there are a lot of, I would say a majority of people want a perfect solution where nothing goes wrong and there's no sacrifices and the town just figures it out. And that's never how it's going to work. So I think when trying to please that audience, something like this is just gonna, okay, what else? What else can you do?
They don't. Some folks, I think I agree with you. They're not going to spend the time to kind of be responsible and do the due diligence to figure out what you should be doing. And it doesn't matter which way you pick. It just matter they're not quite informed and stuff, and they don't really want to be.
And even if all of this went the way that the people that are proposing that that we withdraw from CPA, we still have 2 bonds that we have to pay.
Right.
That if we can pay that with the money that we have, then that takes care of it. But the money that remains in our pots still have to be spent either by us if they still keep us to spend it, or the selectmen then have to spend it still for whatever the pots
right.
are, and then the remainder, however, within the categories. It cannot be used to balance the budget
Correct.
anywhere else.
So the money that we have in the pot, if the CPA did not go forward this year, it would cover about a little less than half the bonds that are outstanding.
So we would have
So the
at
town
least
still
another
would be
year or two.
responsible for the rest of that.
Right.
So this is not gonna solve their problem this year, and I think
It
that's
will
what
make it worse.
they're looking for,
Very short.
a short-term fix. And then also, just like the grant that we have in front of us, the only reason that this is in front of us is because the selectmen wanted us, and we did, spend $500,000, $450, for the land along the Blackstone. And that's what I said. These are things that CPA buys things for the town that the town cannot otherwise afford.
Right.
And you're using other people's money. We're using our money, but we're also using other people's money.
And the
too.
state match.
Well, that's what I mean.
That's what
it's-
I brought up. State match, the interest, all these other things.
Yeah, the state match percentage has gone down substantially from what it was the
Right.
first few years.
The first, that
but
was
the-
100%.
But the absolute amount that we get each year
Right.
has been very constant in the $140,000, $150,000
Right.
range.
Right.
And so it's still coming in, even though the percentage isn't what it used to
And
be.
if they totally step away from being part of the CPA and just abolishing it, all that money goes away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We
Goes
get
to somebody,
nothing.
goes to someone else.
Go,
Yep.
yeah.
And then
Just
the
went out of town.
bond repayments are no longer, because we no longer get a match, because that stops. So we're 100% funding those bond payments, not 80% funding.
Right.
So, and I saw one comment, Paul very nicely forwarded me some of these, that, we can, readopt it later. I honestly don't think
Oh,
that
never
will
happen.
ever happen.
Oh, you
I think
don't. Yeah.
you can't bank on that, and it was, when we did this 20+ years ago, we didn't go 3% because we were afraid the town would not go for 3%, which we should have done, because then we would have gotten a lot more money.
Right.
But we were trying to, again,
Balance.
hedge our bet. We wanted to have something, and we kind of met halfway, because 3% is the max, 1%. I think that you might even can go as low as 0.5%, but it's not worth your while if you have such little amount of money, if you're only doing that small of a match or surcharge.
I think the problem we're going to run into is, like I said, this is being done as kind of like an olive branch, but you're reaching out to someone or a group or someone who who doesn't necessarily want to play that game, who isn't interested in saying, okay, we'll take this and we'll yes on the override. Understood. That's not necessarily how it's going to shake out.
It's two separate issues.
And it's two different pots of money that
Yeah.
that never cross paths. So I don't know if anybody has any other comments. I mean, this, hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have a lot better idea of what's going on. Hopefully this will have,
Is it this coming Tuesday?
I have no idea, because I've never been officially notified by anybody
It's
about
always the
this.
first and third Tuesdays.
Yeah, so, when I first heard about this, it was before the Tuesday meeting. I put together a defense of the CPA in the sense that it was explaining what good it has done. And it goes through the points that, some of the points that we've mentioned here, and I should have made some copies of it. Beth went out to make some copies of it. But what it focuses on is all the big projects that have been done with the CPA that are valuable to the town. It goes through the
recreation
infrastructure things it's done. One Grafton Common, they spent, the committee spent, I don't know, the paper's out there, I'd say $1.2 million on it altogether, but it leveraged a huge, it leveraged more than that of outside money. And we've got a beautiful common.
And all our
it's not,
parks are now handicap accessible.
it did all the
And
parks,
The common's been
it
redone.
did the library,
Playgrounds.
it did, it did,
That's what I meant.
Lions Club, it did
And then,
a huge amount of really good things.
Yeah, with the playgrounds, you never know when you're gonna have an enforcement order to say, make it handicap accessible.
And that's all money that the rec department didn't have to spend.
But they
because-
didn't have that. That's,
They wouldn't have,
you
it wouldn't
don't
have
have
got
that
done.
kind of money.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
have got
Didn't
done.
have to and couldn't have.
And any grant that they want to apply for, they need to come up with a match. Where are
match.
we gonna get matches from if we don't have money like this to access?
Right, and we've used this for the Circle Commission for matches for studies, but, they're
It's just
smaller,
leverage.
$15,000. But again, it's like, you have to have the match to
Yep.
be able to do these projects, so, hopefully,
And then how would we fund the housing authority? Like
well, we're their sole source of
if
money.
that goes away, how are they gonna
They
get
said that
money
they would
for
try to get a line item from the town, and again, then you're making that budget even,
So that really needs to
bigger.
be emphasized too.
so. Because if they're short money, if they have to, infuse them with
Thank you.
cash, that's gonna add to the
To the issues.
deficit.
I will just say, when you're talking about being, defending the CPC and CPA, as someone who's obviously the young one here, but who's worked in this town and environment for a long time, you're gonna have to bring more than here are all the ways we help you, because there are a lot of people who, like we said earlier, who are gonna be like, I don't care. Like they kind of need that recognition, and it goes back to if there was a concrete, if you got rid of the CPA, I would be in favor of this and this and this, and to an actual full on, vote and agreement, then it would make a little more sense. But this is like a gamble almost. But the gamble is not in the hands of elected and appointed officials. It's whoever shows up at the town meeting. And I've never liked gambling or trusting in that, ever.
Well, hopefully, people smarter or wiser minds will prevail, and those people will attend town meeting. I don't think anybody can deny the good things that we have done. I can understand, because I am in the same boat of, where's the money going to come from for all the things that we need when everything is getting more and more expensive? But I think this adds so much more than just the surcharge that we would be, and that was another, I said, penny wise, pound foolish, that we're gonna lose.
The math doesn't work.
Right.
I mean, that's the bottom line. And you can fight all you want, the math doesn't work.
Yeah, and what are they gonna do next year?
But even this year, it's not gonna help.
No,
Yeah.
it won't help for 2 years anyway, based on the money that we have in the bank. And I did check with, Evan, I said, just, I wanna be prudent and I wanna be responsible. We've got a couple of warrant articles that are projects that are gonna be potential warrant articles. You said proceed as planned, you know, because you don't know how this is, so this is gonna be a two-track thing. If that just goes away, that's fine. So we continue to do our work as though we're gonna be here next year and the year after that.
John, did you, determine what needs to be done for this to get, you know, on the warrant?
Either the selectmen have to put it on the warrant, or, and were some comments about, having a citizen's petition to put it on the warrant.
What's this,
That's like
how
you
hard
and
is it to get a
50 or
signature?
100, I don't know what the number is, that you have to have, if you want anything, if you wanted your road paved, if you wanted to do whatever, you could get a citizen's petition that you then get put on the warrant, but you have to have a certain number of certified signatures of Grafton voters. I don't know what that number is.
Yeah, the question is, how hard is it how hard is
so-
it?
It's
to
somewhere between 75 and like 200.
I wouldn't say it's
That's
a
not very- it's not
huge
that
number,
No, it's
and
not a lot.
surmountable,
think
but
it's a-
it's more than 10. It's not like, oh, like I'm gonna run for office and get 20 names.
Yeah.
And so this would be one of the warrants at the end of the, rather one of the articles on the end of the warrant,
And again, I don't know where they would place it.
usually at the end.
So-
The citizen stuff goes at the end usually.
It depends.
I mean, sometimes though, they want people to be there. This is something you don't, because people will leave after they get their thing done, and if the selectmen want this kept, they will put it up front so that everybody is there, and that you hope all the people that will vote for it are still there,
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that the select board won't do it,
so.
because
But-
there's three solid
But
votes
that's,
against it.
there's another avenue, is the
okay.
citizen
Then
petition.
it goes to town meeting, and then does it take effect that, for the following fiscal year?
As soon as the vote is taken, like the ballot at the box.
Yeah, it's the ballot.
It's effective at that point.
Yeah, you have to,
And
And
if
so the
it's
tax
voted
bills
in,
wouldn't
it
have
has to
to-
get voted up.
The tax
I-
bills would get reprinted immediately.
Well, I take that back. I need to talk to Stuart, because I read this stuff last Tuesday night when I was sitting in the audience. It may have to go through this cycle because of what's already been done financially, and then it would be effective next fiscal year. That I can ask. But it's, at that point, we can no longer, we couldn't meet in October to give more money. But I don't know that we'd be disbanded at that point.
The other thing about the citizen petition is the language would have to be legal. They'd have to get it right.
Right, because they
Uh,
can get it ruled
which
out of order and
happens.
that's done.
It happens very often. They don't. Also, just to say, like you said, on the not having the votes front, I'm not sure if this was put on as just discussion or like this is something we should do. If it was just like like I said, an idea, maybe this will convince some people. I've been hearing rumblings of people trying to do this for months and never went anywhere.
Well, they tried during COVID on the football field.
Yeah.
People stood up and said, we should get rid of CPA. I mean, it didn't go anywhere. But at that point, because I think there were financial concerns even
Yeah,
back
I'd be
then.
curious how it impacts the individual, like homeowners. I mean, I would have to do my math, because I'm just curious.
Without my tax bill, which is sitting, waiting to be paid, I want to say
1.5.
it's
So-
it's like $100.
Right, so
Okay.
when you
It's not a
put it
lot
in
of
that
money.
perspective, would saving that $100 benefit you as an individual to not have any of these projects
Right.
happen in town?
And
what it
that's
comes down
what
to.
I've talked to a couple different people, and that's what one person said, that there's all the other things that people are, upset about financially with the town right now in terms of there's not enough money for this or that. But for CPA, even if you don't have kids in school, you go to the library, and we've done we helped make that handicap accessible. We've done the cupola, we've done the common, so we've done Hassamasset Woods, we've done affordable housing, we've done the accessibility for the playgrounds. So we've done stuff all over town in every facet of town. So you may have been touched by everybody's been touched by CPA in some way, that they've benefited, whether they go on a concert on the common, that that benefits them, that the common now is been redone.
Some people's mentality is, well, that's already done. I don't care about anything in the future. I mean, it's just a narrow kind of view of things, and it's
But
driven by
this-
certain things.
Whereas if you're just worried about schools and so I don't have any kids in the school, it's like, so that doesn't impact you so much. CPA impacts everybody because we really have been pretty good about doing projects in every part of town and in all the subject areas.
Yeah.
So,
In
we're,
the-
we're singing to the choir here.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the meeting packet, for this meeting, there is the project database Excel spreadsheet is included in that. And if you look at that, that's quite easy to search for all the different projects that are in there. You can search many different ways. And so I would encourage you guys to take a look at that and perhaps, make a note of the projects that you think might resonate the most with the different people in the town that this committee could highlight
Well,
if
I
it
think
comes down to it.
something as simple as just having a map of all those locations.
Right, as part of the spreadsheet, there is a list of locations on one of the worksheets. And so each project shows, has a location, and there is a workbook in that file that shows the list of all the places that it
Yeah,
is.
but I'm thinking
It's
more.
not mapped, but it could.
No,
it
I
could-
mean, that's so easy to do.
They could be easily. It could
It's
easily be
done
mapped.
of very simply indicate, to John's point, that it's not all around the common.
Right, but you can see all the organizations that sponsored the grants, all the locations where the grants are, and all the different categories. And,
It'd be
quite a bit of
fascinating.
information about everything is in that spreadsheet.
I'm just thinking of different ways to communicate information about the matching funds and so forth. So when you have an overall project at $10, $6 came from CPA and $4 came from someplace else, or $2 came from CPA and $8 came from someplace else. That's really powerful, because to the point that we talked about before, it's all the other co-benefits that you're getting, and not just that 1.5%.
Do we know when warrant articles have to be submitted by?
It's 45 days before, which is basically March 1st is kind of the rough date, but let's see. It's not even that. Town meeting is the 11th
So
of May.
if there is a warrant article that gets placed, then the onus is gonna be on us to defend CPA.
Like I said, it's not going to be as convincing just being
But
like.
don't worry about a small majority that has a very very focused agenda. You got to talk to everyone and let democracy take its path. And if you don't do a good job of informing everyone, and people don't feel it's valuable to them to show up, then that's a whole different issue, and it is what it is.
But hopefully,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
that we will have a really easy campaign just because of all the people that we have funded, all the groups that we have funded. If they can get, and they're from every walk of that, like I just said, every
Yeah.
walk of life in Grafton, if we can get even a small percentage of those people to come, because it's in their best interest, because they'll probably come back for another
Yeah.
grant and to say thank you for the grant that they received, to come to town meeting and to tell their neighbors. And it's like, and that's something we can do easily, and the coalition will help us do
Yeah,
that.
and that's just it. Don't concentrate on the folks else.
Get out the
naysayers.
positive vote.
Because there, no matter what, there are always going to be people that don't support what you do, and that's okay.
And that's part
That's
of
fine.
democracy. I mean, that's,
But you can get the,
We just need to
get all the
make
Joy of Music
sure
people
we have
out there.
more.
And get the Lions Club out there.
Right.
And
I
all the
mean,
people that play soccer on the fields,
and there's
on all the fields that were funded.
right, and the people that use the pool, the lake, and just there's just so many. We've done so many good things. You just like the more you think about it, it's like wow, we really have done a whole lot of good for this town.
Yeah, and it's just
And it's not we did it; the town did it. We just put it to the town, and the town approved these things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's more just, you know, basically energize the people who have benefited and let the process take
Right.
place. And if they don't show up, then they don't show up.
Gotta get him in the room.
Yep.
All right.
I'm confident that, that it would prevail,
So,
if it gets to town.
I would make that assumption either. I'd work towards that.
Right, I mean, we need to work for it, but it will prevail.
Yep.
okay, moving on, because I know Ken needs to go. Town Records Archival Project.
So,
Oh, we already have money for that, so, but,
there's money already there, and she, reached out to me. She had a book I was gonna, you got me sidetracked to get this whole conversation. I've forgotten what book it was. It's a historic, record. Here it is. So it's a book on the poor, an adhesive file, restoration of the binding, and some page conservation, 3 maps on artist board to be removed from the boards and conserved, placed in Mylars, manuscript map in a folio with additional map materials, Civil War enrollment scroll, and then annual town reports they wanted to do too, but she is finding funding for that elsewhere, so it's just the historic documents that I just read. So one of them, the Book of the Poor, is 800, 3 maps are 600, manuscript is 700, and then the Civil War enrollment scroll is 1,200. So there's adequate funding in her her account for it. She's gonna end up with about just shy of $1,300 left after spending those funds.
okay. Historic gravestones. I finally reached somebody at Mass Historical. That lady said, oh, no, you don't have to worry about us. We don't have to do any approvals, but maybe you should talk to somebody in the archaeology department. Next week, I get an email from archaeology. Oh, but you do. So, if we did go that route to replace it, we have to go through Mass Historical. It's on a no, it's just another step. So, at least we got a little more information on that. 95 North Street.
So they're in the punch list thing. They now have a sign out there.
I
there's
saw
a
that.
sign.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yep. So, and I could
Nice.
forward this and so forth.
That's awesome.
So it was just, yeah, because the invoices come in, I gotta approve them and stuff,
Right.
and I was just looking at it, you know, did you check with CPC on this? It's got the on the bottom, funded by, and all that kind of good stuff, so.
They entered
The
that.
original plan was for 2 loops. One was the accessible one, and then
Yeah.
there was a bigger one. Are they doing both still? Or?
No, I don't believe they're doing the larger one, but let me, before I say that, let me check.
Yeah, because I think the larger one was just really going to be a
It's
pathway.
it's a much easier than the accessible one.
Yeah.
But the accessible one is what they were concentrating on, as that was the difference. But let me check before that. It might have been just the
When
canopy.
they went
yeah.
back and got a second quote, I thought they were gonna be able to do
Do it that-
most
yeah.
everything.
They also, and again, I should be following this a little bit closer, but they also got, the DPW has been fabulous in supporting this. So let me double check with Leah to make sure that that was done.
Looking forward to that for my dog walking.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I
No,
wanna
well, you
get-
can
I
see
was
when
hoping
you
to get
drive
over
by,
there, but then
but
all the
it's
snow
buried
came.
in snow. You can't.
Yeah.
You can see the outlines of where the wooden fencing is and things, but now you can't. Even if you wanted to sneak in, you can't.
But you'll be able to use it for cross-country skiing
Yeah.
or snowshoeing
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, it'll be awesome.
There was a question about that. I think that I don't know if that was asking. We paid for the improvements. The land was given to us because that was a question about buying it. It's like we didn't buy
No, it's
that.
not
It was
made out.
donated.
Yeah,
That came in
like-
front of Concom, and
Yeah.
and then it ended up here,
Yeah.
and so forth, and it was, you know, and the town spent money to clean up.
Right.
Any old orchard is going to have certain contaminations and stuff, but everyone did it with their own eyes open, and
Right.
so it was. The family was fabulous. I mean, we don't get to do that in Concom. We don't get to like, this was cool, and the whole idea of it was, you know, and that was just because of the family, and you know, and honoring.
And even
their
if the
mother's
family
wish.
had given that, if we didn't have CPC, that couldn't have happened, because
Right.
there really is not money, there's not a funding source outside of us.
Yep.
To do that kind of work. So,
Yeah.
Grafton Housing Authority.
I have one small update. We have one first month's rent that we're going to request for February. And we do have some more people that are going to be moving in next month. So if any of them have struggles there, then we can support. But other than that, smooth sailing. I'm still in the process of trying to get people at the state, at Met Housing Partnership, at CPA to help flesh this out and spread it around. But starting to think it might have to just be a one-man show, just going around, hey, look at this cool thing we have. Maybe you should try it.
Okay. Cisco Homestead, I'll give a quick update. I need Justin, because I don't know if he talked to Ray. Ray Gould emailed both of us that they are doing work, and so they are starting to get bills. So she wanted to know how that was supposed to be handled. So I need to follow up with him to see what kind of communications he's had with her. So that finally is now moving forward. And then the Congregational Church, we extended the sunset on that. For the Affordable Housing Trust, I don't know if anybody knows anything about what's going on with them, but I know the apartments on 17 and 27 Upton Street, the selectmen did approve whatever for the PNS. I don't know if the PNS has been signed, but they approved a couple more documents,
Oh, that's good news.
so that's moving along.
They changed the design of it in a good way. There's no more building like right on the street, so it's gonna be like open when you drive past, which is nice.
So, and Colleen had a meeting with her daughter tonight, so at school, so she probably won't make it, because I don't think they're gonna be through till 8 or 8:30. So she can update us next time. Project Signs, I still need to work on that with, I think her name was Leah at the Sunshine Sign, because I was gonna try to backfill some of the signs that didn't get done and replace the sign that was stolen at South Grafton Elementary. And then Lake Wildwood, no update. That's, and I'm sure, I don't know, in the spring if that will move, I don't know. It's a legal matter that's, the family is kind of disputing value and what is gonna push that along, so. If there's nothing else,
Move to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.